do a quick mic check. 1, 2, 3. That one sounding okay?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
All right. So thanks for tuning in. I just wanted to hop on here real quick before the video starts to roll and kind of give everybody a little precursor on where I've been this week, who I've been talking to. And this week I've been talking to Craig Kaviar. I went to Kaviar Forge, which is a really, really cool setup in the Clifton neighborhood. And Craig Kaviar is a renowned iron worker in Louisville, great artist. He does all sorts of iron work, home installations, chandeliers. He does furniture, staircases, railways, different sculptures, which you'll see a little bit of in the video. And so I went and set up shop there. And so it's in Clifton. So if you go down Frankfort Avenue, it is going down towards Mellwood, going down towards the river. It is right to the left. It's right behind North End Cafe. So real treat. He calls his setup back there a park-like escape from the rest of the city, from the rest of Clifton. So, and he's definitely achieved that. He's, like I said, he's just a brilliant creative guy. And he's got his workshop set up back there, and then he's got a gallery to showcase his work as well. And the cool thing about Craig Kaviar was that he moved in 1985. He moved into Clifton in 1985, and that was really before it popped or anything around it had started to pop. Like I said, Crescent Hill's on one side, you've got Butchertown on the other side, you've got Irish Hill in the back, and all those areas, aside from, Crescent Hill wasn't quite Crescent Hill, I guess, at the time, but aside from Crescent Hill, I mean, those areas were just sort of run down and undesirable. Nobody was really flocking to live there. And so he sort of rode out the wave from then until now of the total transformation and turning over of a neighborhood to where today Clifton's very desirable. You have all sorts of restaurants and brands just trying to get in as fast as possible, fighting to get some real estate, residents moving in, valuations just skyrocketing on the residential side as well as the commercial side. And so it's just a really cool vantage point. So I wanted to go see how that was for him, because his space used to be a dump. It literally was a dump, a garbage dump. So, I just thought it was really cool for him, especially being a creative dude, somebody that makes art and, really practical ironworks to decorate your home with. I bet that really did something for him on an inspiration level to just kind of watch as the neighborhood went from one kind of rundown thing to the other. Really revived it, because a lot of those houses and buildings were built in the late 1800s and the early 1900s, really revived it back to its original luster back in its heyday and then some. So wanted to kind of give you all a rundown and just to paint a picture here, literally paint a picture and to spice up the video a little bit, okay? I'm treating you guys today. So we've got the Ohio River, and pardon my drawing illustration skills, but I just kind of wanted to paint the picture there. We got Butchertown and Clifton, and then Crescent Hill here. We've got Irish Hill, we've got Phoenix Hill, and then we've got Nulu here. Give or take, sorry about that. But, this clump right here, all sort of a similar neighboring come-up story. Was very hustle and bustling, very historical back in the day, very blue-collar roots that kind of put the city on their back and made it what it is today. And then it kind of fell off and slumped. People started moving to other neighborhoods as they started to develop. And now they're all sort of, it's funny how harmonic it is in the restoration process, and they're all getting back to that original luster that they once experienced. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Craig Kaviar is a really cool guy. I think you're really going to like it. Once again, if you see anything in the video that you have any questions on, inquiries, any curiosities, anything any questions or any way that I can help on the real estate front, feel free to reach out to me. My number is 502-500-6469, or shoot me an email at sam@familyrealty.com. I'm happy to help in any way. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll the clip. Enjoy the interview. What's going on, everybody? Sam Heine here, back at you with another episode of Street Talk. And today I am at Kaviar Forge with none other than Craig Kaviar, who does some really inspiring ironwork around town in the form of architectural ironwork that you can install into your home, chandeliers, railways. He does some really amazing sculptures that you can see in the background, and just a really artistic and vibrant place. I was just telling him, and he described it as a park-like escape from the hustle and bustle of Frankfort Avenue, which is right in front of us. But I thought it would be a really cool conversation to have because, you know, I met Craig for coffee a few weeks ago, and he mentioned that he had moved into this space in the 80s. And like I said, we're in the heart of Clifton here, and just that transition from the 80s to today, you know, because Clifton's gone through, I guess, what you could call a little bit of a renaissance.
Oh, absolutely.
Period. So I thought, you know, you have the perfect insider's perspective. So I was hoping that you could kind of just describe what's that's been like for you to kind of watch that play out as you do your thing back here.
Okay. Well, yeah, it was a very rough neighborhood, and that's why I could buy all my property at a very reasonable price. There were homeless people living on this property. They had, this was actually a dump, and the previous owners had a series of abandoned vehicles here, and they would rent them out to the homeless for $1 a night.
Wow! While you had the building?
Well, no, before I bought the building, and so when I bought it, I spent 6 months doing nothing but filling 3 dumpsters, and every day one of the dumpsters got pulled out. One was for trash, and one was for sheet metal, and one was for number 2 shearing iron. So the 2 metal ones went to scrap yards where they would pay me for them.
Oh, nice.
But in the end, I ended up having about a third of the cost of what I paid for the building I had in dumpster bills.
Sheesh. They didn't tell you that up front, I guess.
Well, I knew it was, I saw the mess.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I kind of knew what I was getting into.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now it's a lot nicer.
Yeah, it looks amazing out here. And I guess it's sort of, you know, not that you didn't like the people that were living around here whenever you first moved in, but, you know, I would imagine you're back here creating art. Is there a part of the turning over of the neighborhood, you know, where, you know, when you moved in 30 plus years ago, it was totally new faces than what it is now? There's a new breath of life.
Yeah, it was all rental, very low priced rental people. There was a fella who lived in a garage without any plumbing, and although he was a great guy, there was a lot of crime, and they said you couldn't walk down an alley in the evening, and there was a lot of trash and a lot of crime. And on the 4th of July, people would shoot guns into the air all day long. Day long. So I cleaned up this area, and then several years later, North End opened up. Actually, I think they opened up in the late 90s. And Idea also came in around the same time. And that was really the beginning of the true transition of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
North End brought a lot of nice people. In fact, I was getting so many people coming over.
I bet.
I decided I either needed to get a big dog or open up the gallery. So
Nice.
I decided to open the gallery.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's got a great gallery back here. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, folks. Not only does he have a giant workshop there that he pumps out all of his good-looking ironwork, but he's displaying it at the gallery, and so it's very cool stuff.
Yeah, and next door there's a very fine woodworker as well.
Yeah, it's great stuff, and I would imagine, I guess with the turning over the neighborhood, and I know you've stayed busy through the years, so maybe you didn't notice it, but I would imagine that story of new faces, new businesses, really a new breath being breathed into the neighborhood would do something for you on the creative side, you know?
I don't know about that.
No? You just sort of observed from afar?
Yeah. When I first arrived, I actually had to go out of town to sell my work.
Really?
Yeah, I would go to high-end craft shows and would sell to galleries all over the country and designers all over the country. And then eventually people started commissioning me. My first big commission was actually the First Unitarian Church when they were rebuilding after it burned on 3rd Street.
Wow.
They couldn't afford to rebuild the whole church, and so there was a section that they have at a courtyard, and actually the Binghams actually paid for the ironwork that I did, and I did a bunch of grills and gates so that they had an enclosed courtyard there.
Still there today?
Still there today, yeah.
Drive by and check it out, folks. I guess, in closing, I know you're not, you're an artist, you're not involved in real estate, but just being from the inside and watching it for the past 30 years and knowing the story of your building and how it's developed and the property values have gone up, where do you see Clifton in 5 to 10 years? Because it's sitting pretty. It's sandwiched in between Butchertown and Crescent Hill and Irish Hill on the other side.
Yeah, it's a very nice neighborhood now. There's lots of shops and restaurants in walking distance, and I don't see it going anywhere but up.
Right. Yeah, that's what it sure seems to be doing. So, well, awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming on.
Sure.
Yeah, keep pumping out the good feels and the great work, and hopefully you'll be sitting pretty here for many years to come. So, ladies and gentlemen, Craig Kaviar. Check out his work online, Facebook page. How can they get a hold of the?
I have a website, CraigKaviarForge.com, and also Craig Kaviar Facebook is open.
There you go. Awesome. Open for business.
Yep.
All righty. Well, we're checking out from Clifton, and I will see you next week, folks.
Bye-bye.